Today is January 5th, 2025. Oh, today's been a good one again. I went to Golden Corral. As I go to leave, there's Latino guys in there for that Pete, mocking me as I walk by. Okay. All of the Latino drug cartel, the ones that are in it, all announced, even in Massillon Walmart in front of the cops, they work for Pete. Okay. People, as I went in and said, we all heard how they made fun of Will for this, where I had my tapes playing in my car. When I went in stores and did other things. I think it's funny. Another thing, I went to Walmart 62. Another hotbed. Some of the investigators. We always knew all those tapes were drugged and photoshopped on her before. What do you mean one of those agents lied to the U.S. Marshal? That one guy found out that girl lied to him. She didn't threaten her. She didn't even know who she was. And for her to be dressed like a teenage prostitute. And she even said she had stayed at some boys' place overnight. And she lied to him that she threatened him. And nobody thought it was funny when she found out. She didn't even believe her when she was trying to say she was dating Dave. No, I didn't believe her. They acted like it was that agent's kid, where she told people she was Agent Will's daughter, like she actually is. Okay? And that's why he was so mad, thinking I threatened his kid. We're going to have a long talk about that one. And about start acting like a grown adult. I don't know you from Adam. Never met you. How would I know you're a drug addict kid? Now we're going to have some parenting talks. Your teenage kid messed up in drugs should not have problems in your work. Shouldn't have problems in your work. Your personal problems should not interfere in your work. She's a little 14, 16-year-old kid messed up in drugs, spending night with other men. Or she said she stayed over with the boys. Messed up in drugs. Why didn't you put her in a rehab and get her away from the cartel? I know it's hard and very hard decisions to do something like that to your kid. What do you want her in federal prison? Dead? See, when they're that bad, it's life or death. Should have been a better father and put her in a rehab place and relocated her so they couldn't get to her again to keep her out of federal prison. Why didn't you love her enough? No. Some woman calls for help, and because she's messed up in the drug cartel, and my ex hired the drug cartel to harm me, went and lied to her daddy that I threatened her. Never even knew her. How would I know her? How would I know you? I never laid my eyes on you until December 18th, 24. So how would I know who the fuck your family is? And your family problems shouldn't have became mine. Conflict of interest there, buddy. Oh, investigators are saying the FBI's been letting all this happen to her and been mean to her because one of their kids lied. Big problem. Like my informant money. Yeah. So I can actually help my family. Dave's gone forever. Jen's mom and dad are dead. So are Dixie's. I'm the only parent left. And an only grandparent. Except for John's family has Melissa's mom and dad. But do you realize I'm the only parent and grandparent to 6 out of my 10 grandchildren? Grandparent for them, and to my children, my 3 sons, I am the only parent here. Dave's in another country. He fled the law. Now, we're going to start acting like we're grown instead of idiots. You need to start out, Agent Will, you need to start acting, like a grown-ass adult. A grown-ass adult. Going to that Apostolic Church of Barberton, tell them you didn't care if I was being drug beat and raped. And then you said because of Strange's pathetic baby lie, if I was going to be mean to women, you were going to turn me back over to them. You told on me for calling the FBI. Before you even spoke to me from the hotline, all the police know you told on me. And these people sold the login by the first or second month of 18. I can go in different states and people mention the case. So, like they said, everybody knows what's going on but her family. Now, we're going to have a long talk. I'd like my money to help my family. Like they said, we all know they gave her money. She'd actually help them. See, these people don't want my family help. These are the people trying to hurt me and my family. See, that's where I put it up on Facebook. When a rational mind. Now you think about what that agent said. I met with that family in my office and all those church people. Most normal people would have looked at the Vegas and said, what the fuck are you doing here? What the flying fuck are you doing here? Why are you involved with him having his wife drug beaten raped? What the fuck is your problem being involved in this? And why would you involve yourself? He should have talked to him like a grown man and like they were grown-ass adults and asked him what their fucking problem was. You know, I grew up in New York, and I grew up in the 70s. And those teachers didn't even take shit from kids. I remember when I was like 8 or 9, they had us maybe 9, 10 tops, okay? Probably 9. I want you to think about this. Little kid. They would have us switch classes for like English or something. And then when they got time that they had to switch into other classes. On the first day of switching, because we were little, made a lot of mistakes, a lot of us. Do you know how they talk to little 8, 9-year-olds? What the hell are you doing in this room? You were to pay attention when I told you to go to this room, this room, this room, and I counted people off. What the hell are you doing here? Now you get to the right room. They didn't put up with shit from even children. So, being talked to like that since I was little, you look at the Vegas. I didn't have anything to do with their kids' dad. They had nothing to do with the medical malpractice. Unless, did they pay those doctors to try to kill me? Were they killers back then too? Because with the 6 to 10 surgeries, my muscles tightening up. Went to a bunch of crackpots, falsely diagnosed me. Gave me the wrong meds. My whole body swelled up. Thyroid, adrenal gland shut down. Many heart attacks, brain swelling. Hmm? Had seizures, heart attacks. It was almost that time out. My family physicians told me that they were known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, and making them sick. Hmm. I want you to think about that. Get an attorney, sue them, turn them over to the state. So they pulled their license. It took me 9 months of slowly getting well. Documented medical malpractice, fraud, medication errors. Thank God I never sued them. So I started with Dr. Eli in November of 2002. By April, I'm almost well. May 3rd, 2003. We're all at home. There's a church baseball game, but we're replacing carpets, so the guys had to stay home. Mm-hmm. Shows up, Brian Laney shows up and tells us how church baseball game, there's church people behind Phil and Tyler. And he didn't even try to stop, runs through a stop sign. Into a semi, kills them both. Everybody couldn't believe he didn't stop. I'm at home with my whole family. Did we have anything to do with it? No. That's May 3rd, 2003. Now I'm almost well in April. By July, I finished getting well. November of 2003, 6 months later after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. My sister Linda's married to strangest kid, Tim. She was out one day, found him with another woman named Katie. So every time he left, she'd follow him. She didn't have enough nerve to confront him. Thank God, they would have killed her. It's Nicole. She came up to me at church on a Wednesday night. I was following him again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful. Well, Strange makes up that lie by Sunday. Baby lie. Oh, you were faking through all that 4 or 5 years. Yeah, boy. Talk to a criminal attorney. You can't fake that shit. No, you can't. Okay? Takes a moron to believe it. A moron. All right. Did it have anything to do with their father running a stop sign? No. They weren't grieving so bad that they did not go on vacations during that time either. They got all that inheritance money from her dad dying. Her one sister Rhonda and her husband Joe bought big trucks and all kinds of stuff. Big vacations. 6 months later, they had already been on vacations. They weren't grieving so bad they couldn't leave their house. Get the idea. Now, him calling me a faker, did it affect them at all? No. We just went to the same church. Like my one neighbor, Becky, she said it's insanity. They're not even connected. Somebody said something mean about you. Had nothing to do with their kid dying. And trying to connect them is insanity. It is. So we're going to jump 15 years ahead. I don't even go to their church. They had to hunt me down. Like September 18th, 24, 8:30 in the morning, my car's bugged. An investigator was telling my client's neighbor up in Akron that agent needs to get his facts straight before he puts his name on anything. It was a medication error that made her sick before. Why'd they wait 15 years? Oh, when Strange thought she was following Tim and Kitty in 03. He ordered her death. They were to try to have her killed. And if that didn't work, they were to have her destroyed. They've been planning this for 15 years before they did it. He needs to get his facts straight before he puts his name on anything. Exactly. And tell everybody you know not to say a word to her. They planned this for 15 years because Strange thought she was following Tim and Katie. If they would have realized it was my sister Linda following her husband, they would have killed her. It's in a cult. Like people said, if they were not called, they wouldn't have had anybody say a word to her. And they definitely would have never had anybody harm her. Churches don't do that. Occults do. Teenagers were talking. Our parents told us that's why you don't go to churches like that. Because they're occults. Now, we're going to have a talk. I had nothing to do with that kid's death. They had nothing to do with Strange making up a baby lie on me 6 months later. Nothing to do with them. Why would they want attention? Because he ordered my death, and that was a way for people to manipulate people. Let them use their family's tragedy. How sick and disgusting are they? Because a rational mind would have looked at them and said, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? He's trying to have her killed. What the fuck are you involved in having this lady killed and harmed? She had nothing to do with your kid's death, so what's your problem? You want to call her a faker? You don't know her medical history. And that has nothing to do with your kid's death, so what the fuck are you involved in this, and what the hell are you doing here? Because people are going to go to jail for this. Tell you what, people would have ran out of his office. If he would have talked to them like they were grown-ass adults. Grown-ass adults. What the fuck are you doing involved in this? And him trying to have his wife killed and harmed. She had nothing to do with your kid's death. And just because somebody made up a baby lie on her, had nothing to do with you? What the fuck are you doing here? You should have told them like they were grown. And common sense. You can't feel sorry for people. A poor person has nothing to do with somebody's death, not even associated to it. And some other idiot makes up a baby lie? Huh? A baby lie calling somebody a faker? Has nothing to do with their kid's death. So why would they want to hurt me? Because he needed some kind of thing to twist around to manipulate people into help killing me. Because that minister ordered it in 2003. Now, we're going to talk grown ass. Agent 1, why the fuck didn't you act like an adult? Your drug addict baby girl out there sleeping with men in the drug cartel? How the hell would I know that? How the hell would I know her? I didn't associate with people like that. I had nothing, and your personal family's problem should not have became mine. They should not have been brought into business. You should have been a fucking ass adult and dealt with your baby girl and got her help. Because you got to think, even a common sense, your kid comes up and tells them, I threatened her. Where on earth would I meet her? Where the hell would I even see her? Where would I even know you from? Exactly. And just because your kid has a drug problem in the drug cartel, you should have put her in a rehab place and relocated her so they couldn't get to her, so she doesn't end up in federal prison or dead. You should have loved her a little bit more to help her. Not take all your anger and frustration out on a victim that was calling your agency for help. I'd like my damn money to help my family. And I need a medical card. I'd like you to pay my living and housing expenses like you can in a witness protection program. And then money back money you owe me, and from now on, for working this case. The marshals used the case, got thousands of bad guys. You know, if you wanted to give the FBI a black eye, no one will trust them in this area. They look at them like the most dirtiest law enforcement agency around that can never be trusted. I've heard grown men talk about it outside my apartment. No one will ever trust them. Teenagers. Little kids. The FBI betrayed her. Other, even Mennonite children in New Philly. The FBI let her live through all that and didn't pay her. None of this is funny. So who the hell with Logan will ever trust you? You feed victims back to the cartel and it's coming out that you did it because one of your drug addict daughters lied to you that I threatened her. Where the hell would I even meet her? And I'll tell you what, like those investigators, she didn't even believe that girl when she was trying to tell people she was dating her husband. No, because she looked 14 to 16 years old and she looked homeless. My ex-husband, when we were married, he demanded my hair to be perfect. I wore either blue, black skirts or jean skirts. I wore nice shirts with tank tops underneath them, or I wore tank tops with cardigans. I looked pristine, had flats on, boots or heels. He demanded me to look nice when I went out with him. So why would I believe something that looks 14 to 16 years old looks like she even admitted she had some guy's clothes on because she spent the night at some group of with some boys. What are you doing letting your child at 14, 16 sleep over with a bunch of guys? Where they say the boys is probably the cartel. They had one of their outfits on. That's why she looked like a homeless prostitute. Told you her pants came up about 4 inches above her ankle. It's January to February 19. Comes in, and the shoes look old, and the shirt was trampy. You let your kid go in a church dressed like a homeless prostitute. The pants were faded white, blue jeans, and those were out of style back then. The real light blue ones. And they weren't even capri pants. They were too small boys' pants. She mentioned she had one of the boys' clothes on. Now I want you to think. You don't know how your daughter's dressing? She's sleeping with men? Messed up in the drug cartel, along with the human traffickers, and you didn't get her out of here? What is wrong with you? And what kind of father does that? And doesn't take his little 14 to 16-year-old and put her in a drug rehab program and get her away from him so she don't end up in federal prison or dead. I know you try to protect your child as an adult and as a parent, but then there comes a point in time you have to protect them from themselves when they're uncontrollable. So they don't end up in dead or federal prison. You know, as parents, we always try to protect our children, but sometimes you have to protect them from themselves. My God, you let her get that bad? And then you take all your frustration out on me because for the cartel, she lies to you that I threatened her. I've never even laid my eyes on her. I never even talked to her. Like they said, everybody thought it was funny when they found out I never talked to her and never had seen her till then. And I still have never talked to her. And I didn't even believe she was dating Dave. He's 60 and she looked 14 to 16. I told you I sat in a big family church. A group of teenagers came in. Michelle is a normal name. Look back, church hasn't started. They're making a lot of noise. She yells out, I'm the one that dates Dave. I turn around and I look, and she points at me. I'm the one that dates her husband. I turn around, I'm like, you? I thought it was Michelle Gecko, 50-year-old woman. Heavy stuff. Look back, and she's got those jeans about 4 or 5 inches off the ground that aren't capris. They look like somebody else's pants, and they were. Too tight and too small. Shoes that look old and ragged, or old. And a skanky top on. And I thought, dear God, you look like a homeless prostitute. And I'm like, dear God, he's dating that. He's never touching me again. I'm like, oh God. And I look back and it's like, there is no way. She don't even look 18. She don't look 100 pounds. And she's like, I can have anybody drug being raped. I just have to ask those guys. And then she's crazy and dangerous. And it's like, dear Lord. And no, I didn't believe her. Why? Because he's 60? Like the cops that worked my case? Is she even legal today? She don't look 15, 16 years old. Another cop's like, I would have pegged her at 14. Exactly. 14 to 16 and 90 pounds. She made a mention. I stayed over with the boys last night. I got one of their clothes on. I just put that on this morning. She stayed with a bunch of guys. And that's what they called the drug cartel. It was the boys. And she had one of their clothes on. What the hell are you letting your kid was living that kind of life and underage? With her being, and him being 60? No, I didn't believe a damn thing out of that girl's mouth. See, she told everybody she was Agent Will's daughter at first. Then she was retired Judge Pete's daughter, and then Governor DeWine's daughter. She's lying her ass off. I didn't believe a word that came out of that girl's mouth. But she was one of the ones selling the log in there. So her actually, you showing up and saying she really didn't know, Karen didn't know who Michelle was. And I don't believe she's the Michelle he was dating. You know who I think the Michelle he was dating was? The girl from the restaurant. You know, it took me a long time to think about it. I told you, in March of 18, we had our house out for sale. And Dave wanted to go to this one restaurant. It's empty. We never ate there. I'm like, you sure you want to eat there? Oh, I want to eat there. Go in, there's a couple over in the corner. There's an old couple. The waitress sits in the next booth next to the old couple. This young blonde girl in khaki pants, little t-shirt walks by, blonde hair, mid-waist, looks at me and goes, and I'm like, who are you? Give me a look like that. Sits down, rams her body in the back of my booth. Does he think it's funny bringing her? I'm like, Dave, who is that? He's like, I don't know. Bam! Get in the back of my booth and I go forward. I'm like, Dave, who is that? He's like, I don't know. The older couple starts talking about Dave. Okay? And I said, they sure do know you. Bam! In the back of my booth. I go forward. I'm like, Dave, who are those people? I don't know. She does it again. I said, can I sit over there with you? He's like, yes. I said, who are those people? He's like, I don't know. We leave. We go home. He tells Danny some crazy blonde girl kept throwing her body in the back of Mom's booth. Okay? Now, in 2020 or 2021, I was at Wood Forest on Walmart 62. I'm sitting down waiting for my turn for one of the people to help me. That girl walks up to me in khaki pants, a little t-shirt, walks up as if you don't know what's going on, and walks off. I'm like, who is that? Because I've lived through hell. I'm trying to replay where have I seen her? Where have I seen her? Oh my God, that's that girl from the restaurant 6 months before the case. Then I thought, that older couple she was sitting with, that's one of the mean set of three parents that were being mean to me, even bragging they couldn't wait for me to die from the injuries they had. My God, that's you. What are you doing here? Then I remember them talking around the first of the case that Mary's niece was willing to kill someone to actually have the opportunity to date Dave. Dave was excited. He never had somebody willing to kill somebody. I bet that's Mary's niece. And I bet that's Michelle. Guess what the hell was she doing there? And she was there 6 months before the case. The guy's seen her. Officer Mark and John should know who she is. And I'll tell you what, that Mary from Lighthouse, her family, extended family, is crap. Her second husband, she ended up divorcing him. Her own niece was supposed to be babysitting her children while he slept. She came home and found her in bed with him. Her own niece was having an affair with her husband. So one of them trying to kill me for everything I have? Yeah. They're crap. Shit, whatever you want to call them. See what I mean? But see, that's where people were complaining. When people found out that I never even talked to Savannah, I don't even think I said hello. Where Kaylee, after I was following around, had said, well, you know about Savannah. I said, I know of her, but I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? I said, she's a little 18-year-old kid that sits with her parents. Never had trouble with her parents before. What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? Her parents went to that church a long time ago. Never had problems with them. Why would I know her? What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? Okay? Well, you know, her baby daddy of that little girl is really big in drugs. What does that have to do with anything? Hello, drug cartel. Now, I want you to think of the scary psycho bitch of her. I've never spoke to her. And her having her drug dealing boyfriend and his drug connections hurt me. And I found out through people, she was telling people I was mean to her. She lied. And where Pam and Jack, I'd see them in church, polite conversation. Nobody thought it was funny how I talk to them because it's, hi, how are you? How's the kids? How's the grandkids? Good to see you. And they say the same thing back. Do you know, right before the case started, Jack left Pam. And we had heard about it that he had left her. We go to walk in church. She walks out of the back area. She's full set of tears. And she walks over to me crying, puts her arms up for me to hug her. I hug her. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, honey. Okay? And I hug her. She kisses me on the cheek. And I said, I'm so sorry. She kisses me on the cheek like Judas. Because I'm nothing but kind to her and good to her. And she walks off. And she has her daughter's drug addict friends drug beat and rape me, publicly humiliate me, and she kissed me on the cheek and thanked me for hugging her. And I was nothing but kind to that woman and only polite to her and her family. And I don't even think I said hello to her daughter. I don't even know if they said, hey, this is so-and-so, and you look over and say hi and go back to talking to them. I don't even think I've done that. Now, they lived in a household of over 250 to 300,000 per year. She'd been an RN nurse since she was, 18 to 20 years old? Her husband was an electrician. Her dad owned an electrical business. And her grandparents owned not realty companies, but real estate where they had rentals. Big rentals. They used to pay the kids when they were little to go in and clean the rental properties. Now I want you to think money that came from money that makes money, and they made over 250 to 300,000 income. My son is an electrician, and he told me years ago he made over 150 grand a year. RN nurses can make way over 100. Now I want you to think the very wealthy exploiting and hurting the poor people for the fun of it because they think they're so well off, they're so well deserving that they can harm anybody they want. It's just like the Vegas, they're millionaires harming somebody who's poor that don't have anything to do with their life because they think they're so well and off and have so much money they can just hurt people if they want to. Investigators said it's rich white men that try to kill her. It was rich white men that tried to have her killed. Now I want you to think, I would even like to know why the hell Pam and her family were involved. Was her daughter dating my husband at 18? And why would she let her 18-year-old daughter date a 60-year-old man that there's a 40-year difference? Hmm? One already that, I only knew of that girl because other people in that church talked about her. They left before those kids were born. They come visit. I knew of her kids, but I didn't know them. I don't even know all her kids' names. I knew the first one because people are so mean in those churches. They try to tell you what you can name your kid. Like they should have an opinion in your life. Like they can control you. And they made fun of her because she named the first one after her father, Jacqueline. And I thought that was nice. They made fun of her behind her back because they're mean like that. And the only reason why I knew of Savannah is because people in that church were badmouth. The one that got messed up in drugs had a drug dealer baby as a teenager. Trying to get her to come back to church to straighten up her life. No, she brought the drug cartel into the house of God. I had nothing to do with her. Didn't even know of her. Didn't help talk bad about her because I didn't even know about her, and I don't do that. That's where the whole thing is absurd. Sent with a little baby in a car seat or in her arms. You almost feel sorry for her. So why would you? Little teenager holding a baby. I felt sorry for her. I don't even think Pam even introduced her when we were talking. Just polite conversation and move on. It's so good to see you at church. How's your kids? How's your grandkids? Same thing back to them. Nice seeing you again. And leave. That's it. Nothing but polite and kind. And think of this like, what the fuck are you doing involved? And letting your daughter bring the drug cartel and her telling people I was mean to her and I don't even think I've ever said hello. And for you to say I was rude, I was never rude to you. And if you remember when you were crying, came up, you put your arms up for me to hug you, and I hugged you and kissed me on the cheek. Because I was kind enough to hold you while you wept. And I told you I'm so sorry, honey. Right before the case started, I felt sorry for you. Talk about it, Judas. What the hell are you doing involved? You think you're so rich and entitled you can hurt somebody for the fun of it? You need help. What the fuck would you involve your family for? And that you can go to federal prison for this? And for you admitting that you knew of the tapes before, like a retired CIA agent said, for the people that knew they were taping in your home before, they can all be listed child molesters. Because they knew they were taping in the bathrooms. And children were using it. And that's child pornography. Illegal monitoring is a federal crime. A federal crime. My boyfriend and I were watching NCIS. This guy put a tracker on somebody's car. He looked at him and said, it's a federal crime. Illegal monitoring is a federal crime. It's a 15-year sentence. You can't monitor people where they go. You can't monitor them anywhere. Exactly. Exactly. Like the Portage County Sheriff's, what you people did is illegal. Prosecutor's office, the same thing in Stark County, and it's a big fraud scheme, like those investigators said in Walmart 62 tonight. What do you mean one of the FBI agents lied to the U.S. Marshals? We already knew everything was drugged and photoshopped on her before. What do you mean he lied to him? Is that what's going on? That agent lied to another federal officer. See, they always knew it was a shower scene in the other room or washing. And they knew they had drugged me and told me to say it before. And then they documented them admitting to it before he talked to the U.S. Marshals. And people were complaining Walmart 62. The FBI's been getting even with her because one of their kids said that she threatened them and she didn't even know who she was. I like my damn money for working this case. You have made the Federal Bureau of Investigators, look like fools and the most evil law enforcement and the most crooked. That you turn victims back into the cartel, steal from victims, and laugh at them. Tell on them for calling for help. Tell the villains you're going to help them. Admit on a recorded line you told on them. Please all know you told on them for calling for help. Make them beg for their life. Make fun of them. List them and inform it with money immunity and then steal from victims. I like my money. I have a lot of good to do with it. I want to help Crystal with her college. I want to help my son Josh and do something nice for Danny and Jen. I'm the only parent that got left. You know, while all these people were hurting me, I loved my life. Dave was the type of man, he'd be good to you for a year and a half, maybe 2. And the first day I was in a bad mood, he beat the hell out of you. I should have never put up with it. It's not love, it's control. I know that now. But I actually cared for him. People that watch the case, we all know she greatly loved him. 33 years of marriage. This would have been our 40th anniversary this year. What did these people accomplish? People died here. People got sold into the drug cartel. They helped the bastards. My ex fled the country forever and left everything he had in life behind. If they wouldn't have been involved, he just wanted a divorce. He would have paid a little more alimony. So what did you? And he had those big jobs. He had his family, his children, his grandchildren, his friends, his church. So what did you really accomplish? You got Dave out of the country forever. Thank you. We're all safer. Because I know he didn't love me. He didn't love his kids, and he didn't love his grandkids, even the investigators. We even know he hated all those kids. Because he would have not let those perverts tape him in the bathroom and exploit him. And he wouldn't have threatened to kill everyone. He hated everyone. They said they even found out that he hated me because I would do so much for him. He didn't want me to take his money and spend it on them. It was our money. And they were little and they needed things. That's what family does. So they take care of each other. And he hated him enough to threaten to kill him. And that's one thing I would never forget. Before this, I loved my life. My life was him, my kids, my grandkids. And I was happy. We were always going out fishing, out to eat, vacations. We were always doing something. I loved my life. And it's a shame he didn't love me and love our family back. Now he's in a foreign country forever. I still think the FBI needs to revoke his passport so he can never come back. And whatever he's traveling between Japan and the Philippines for several times a year, he won't be working for the drug cartel no more. And that makes me want to say, FBI, are you thinking crazy? You have him pegged potentially dangerous? He tried to have me killed. He threatened to kill my whole family. Josh's vehicles were tampered with. His family almost died. He was threatening my life. He confessed to a federal agent that him and his church were trying to have me killed because of a 15-year-old baby lie. Conspiracy to commit murder is a federal crime. He hired Pete on his own, a drug dealer, to drug, beat, and rape me, to a federal cop, and was having me stalked, illegally monitored, and the photoshopping and washing and drug confession, and he was having men drug me for fake confessions and beat and rape me. I really had bruises, throwing up, infected, and almost passing out, and go seen by the doctor with no memory of how I got like that. And it's satanic he let those men harm me like that. What do you have to do to be considered dangerous? He was, during the case, being caught with the human traffickers. A murder night of right before Christmas of 18, I had to hide not to get killed. They were talking about killing 2 people outside. What do you have to do to be considered dangerous? To me, that's extremely dangerous. Anybody that will harm people and help kill them is extremely dangerous. And for that agent not to look at everyone involved as extremely dangerous and as a terrorist group, what is wrong with him? Can't handle your baby girl got hung up in crimes? You took it out on somebody else? I'm tired of being a punching bag for people to think that because their world goes wrong, they can hurt somebody and just pick them out. I had nothing to do with your drug addict daughter out in the cartel living a wild life. And her lying to you? Some common sense should have set in. Where would she even have seen you? Huh? Why didn't you just ask me? Because I had no idea of anything of her existence. I didn't even know what you look like. There should have been common sense. And that other agent lying to the U.S. Marshals that they left me there for the shower scene in the other room. They already confessed they photoshopped it. Pete ordered it to be photoshopped, drugged, and made up on me. They framed me. They made fun of everyone for falling for it. They had drugged me and told me to say it before, and they even told you that they had tapes of me not saying that I ever did anything wrong before. No wrong saying. And they only had me simply brushing off water with clothes on, and they photoshopped everything in and out and made fun of everyone for falling for it. That I actually did nothing wrong, and they had nothing on me. They told you that several times, and you flat out lied to the U.S. Marshals. See, the police watched me for that FBI case, and they already documented, like those cops said, we already knew everything was drugged and photoshopped on her before. What do you mean some FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals? They said none of this is funny. No, it's not. And this needs to get under control. And I'd like my informant money. It's for working the case. These people sold the login hmm, by the first or second month. Like they said, everybody knows what's going on but her family. And I need that money and I earned it, damn it. I have a debt in the back of my head. Was drugged till I lost 70 pounds. Almost shot in the head driving. I had to hide on a shooting night. Faced 6 stalkers. Was raped. Was tortured. Drugged till I lost 70 pounds. I'm lucky to be alive. Well, they got all this information on the cartels, and the U.S. Marshals have been using it to blow the hell out of them and save lives. And if people stop acting like damn fools, and I wonder what the cartel's going to do to Savannah and Pam for lying to them that I was mean to them or ever rude. When I was nothing but good and kind to Pam and never even spoke to her daughter. Think of that one. People in Hartville were complaining the other night. Nobody thought it was funny when they listened to it. No, it's not. And nobody thinks it's funny that girl, I had never even laid my eyes on her before. She walked in that church and I still have never talked to her. And I didn't even believe her she was dating Dave, nor do I now. I'd like my money to help my family. I earned it.